You're watching CHCO-TV's gavel-to-gavel coverage of the November 2023 regular council meeting for the Municipal District of St. Stephen. I'm Florence Mitchell. In today's meeting, public hearings of objections will be held for proposed municipal plan bylaw M-2-05 and proposed zoning bylaw Z-3-02. Bylaw MDSS 16-23, a bylaw to impose a special business improvement levy for 2024, will have its second reading and its third and final reading. And bylaw MDSS 15-23, a bylaw to regulate the use of public parks, will be given its third and final reading by title. A request for decision will be made regarding bylaw W1, a bylaw respecting water and sewer rates and charges. Finally, Council will move to transfer $200,000 of the General Operating Fund to the General Capital Reserve Fund. Now let's join Council in the Moosehead Room at the Garceland Civic Center in St. Stephen.
Okay, thanks everyone. Welcome to the Municipal District of St. Stephen Council Agenda, Wednesday, November 29th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Everyone's here. Councilor Rodas is missing. Before we begin, I would like to respectfully acknowledge that we are gathered today on the ancestral, unceded territory of the Passamaquoddy peoples. Next up, I need a mover and seconder for the proposed, for the agenda that's before you with 4 additions that you see. Deputy Mayor Wheaton, Councilor Greenlaw. Any questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carried. Thank you. Any conflicts of interest? Seeing none. Okay. Next up, got a public hearing of objections and or comments for proposed municipal plan bylaw M-205. So I need a mover and seconder. No?
If there's any from the public that wants to comment on the bylaw.
Okay. So is there any public comment on the public hearing of objections for the comments for the municipal plan bylaw M-205? Okay, and I'll say again, is there any comments, objections or comments for the proposed municipal plan bylaw M-205? Okay. Seeing none. All right. Next up, the public hearing objections for or comments for the proposed zoning bylaw Z-302. Okay, one more time. Public hearing objections for the and or comments for the proposed zoning bylaw Z-302. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, next up, I need a mover and seconder for the special council meeting. Councilor Harding. Second. Councilor Wright. That the minutes for the special council meeting held on November 1st, 2023 be approved as presented. Questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. All right, mover and seconder for the regular council meeting. Councilor Heislip. Councilor Harding. The minutes of the regular council meeting held on October 25th, 2023 be approved as presented. Questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. All right, mover and seconder for the special council meeting on November 22nd. Councilor Heislip. Councilor Cornish, that the minutes of the special council meeting held on November 22nd, 2023 be approved as presented. Questions? Question? Yes.
Yes, sir. We had said, I don't know how many meetings ago, when we was making statements and such, that any nays to a motion vote would be published within the minutes. There was 3 nays on this vote.
And that was for the budget, yes.
For the budget.
Yep. Actually, Jeff and I, we talked about that. Do you want to?
So for a recorded vote, it's under the Act, the recorded vote has to be requested prior to the vote, or your procedural bylaw has to be amended to make all votes recorded. So, and we haven't done either one of those things in this particular case. So therefore, that's why it's being presented as in the way it has. But confirm that 3 members did vote in the negative on that vote, yes.
Which it was recorded to, so you could see the ones. So if you want to move forward and do an amendment on, or a change in the bylaw, we could do that.
I think that would be appropriate. Yeah.
So that'll be a rule of council, so we'd have to put that in the agenda next month if they want to change that.
Yeah, that'll be a bylaw amendment that'll have to go through 3 readings over time, but we can draft that amendment for consideration of the committee at their next meeting.
Any more questions to council? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, next up, the report of the Chief Administrative Officer. I'll get a mover and second to go into the report.
We have no delegations. We do have a public comment period after my report, though. That's what I thought it was. Pre-booked versus just showing up, so. You're good, Your Worship.
Oh, I thought so, yeah. I can screw up enough. I didn't think I did on that one. Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah. All right, mover and seconder, please.
I'll move.
Councilor Eastman?
Second.
Councilor Harding? Floor is yours, sir, to share. Or is there any questions of the CRO report? Okay. Share your report, sir.
Thank you, Your Worship. The report is there in your package for review. Obviously, during this reporting period, the predominant driver of our time has been the preparation of the municipal budget. Kudos to our team and to council for a difficult journey. The first budget for this council. It's always it'll get easier, I promise. But it was challenging situations, and I thought my team performed quite admirably in presenting a budget as cognizant of citizen concerns as we could make it. As noted in the report, had been working with Minister Baucus on a few items over the last little while, trying to get her some material she was seeking from us. That was done same day that it was asked for, so we were good for there. Update on the community camera pilot project. That, as of this afternoon, is completed the negotiations with NB Power on those, and the contract has now been signed for the installation of 7 cameras throughout the community at strategic locations that were determined by our executive team in consultation with our friends at the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. So we're just waiting on the work orders to go through for install, but there will be 3 members of senior staff that will have access through a login portal to the footage contained in the cameras, and we'll be able to assist law enforcement and property owners in the event that their footage is required. So that was a positive development today. Of course, that builds on the work of the BIA and in the downtown, and we did take all their camera locations into consideration to make sure we weren't being redundant with their work, and we were building a bigger network of footage. So kind of a good partnership there as we try to cover our community for community safety purposes. Looking at, had a quick chat with a potential insurance provider, both prior to the conference and at the conference that most of us were at. We're going to, next year, we're going to go through a process where we're going to be looking at changing up potentially our, or at least tendering out our insurance services, and I made the supplier aware of that. We'll be working over that in 2024 to make sure we have our insurance well sorted before the January 1, 2025 insurance period. As I say, we've been working very hard in the absence of our treasurer, Mr. Tozer, who continues to recuperate. With any luck, we'll see him again in the office very soon. But Mr. Godso, who's here again tonight to take care of that role, has been working hard and working very well with us, and we appreciate his efforts there. And obviously, I joined many of you at the UMNB conference. From my perspective, it was a good conference. It's always a good opportunity for me to have the outside the sessions conversations with some of the CAO colleagues from across the province, and hold court there to talk about a few things. And we came up with some initiatives that I think we would like to explore further as part of our CAO's roundtable, looking at intermunicipal efficiencies and cooperation to try and find a cheaper way of doing business. So that was always good, and of course the sessions were good as well. And I don't think with that, I think that concludes my report, Your Worship, unless there's any specific questions.
Any questions of council? Deputy Mayor?
Number one, I'd like to thank for getting the opportunity to go to Fredericton. So, like Jeff mentioned, it was a great opportunity. While we were there, they seated us at specific tables with other councillors, so it was kind of nice to share what's going on in their community. And this is just a point of interest. You mentioned the cameras. Today it was on the radio, on the local radio about the cameras, and tonight it was going to be on the 6 o'clock news. Of course, I couldn't watch it, but I'm taping it, so I'm going to see what they're saying about it. Okay, thank you.
Any more comments or questions from council? Brian, or Councillor Cornish?
Just one thing about the actual annual general meeting. The annual meeting itself was held on Sunday, and I want to personally thank Councillor Greenlaw for taking the lead. He covered the session very well for our community and our zone, and I think he deserves a lot of effort. He's put a lot of time into it, because one of the gentlemen that was supposed to had done that had been called away, I think, on emergency, and Wade carried on for our area. Thanks, Wade. It was a good job.
Okay. I'll continue that as well. Although you look quite stressed up there trying to pull all of it together. There's had a lot going on, so they were leaning on you pretty hard. So I appreciate that, for stepping up for our community and taking on that role, and doing the director role as well. And I'll just kind of build off what Jeff was saying about the connections you make and getting to share different issues in our communities. It was really nice, and there's one session there which just it really hit me hard. I'm glad I attended that one, and I bought her book actually after that, so I'm looking forward to finishing that off. But and again, it's good to share our concerns, and anyway, that's what that's all about. And yeah, I went up there, I said, because I've been to so many of them, I wanted to make sure I was a team player and go up there and sit at the table like we always do as a council, but they split us all up, so I didn't get to do that. But it was certainly good, the situation. We also saved the taxpayers' money and stayed at that B&B, and thanks, Jeff, for that, because I actually like to do that again, because it was nice to have breakfast with everyone in the morning. That was very beneficial for us as a team. It was very good team building, so thank you. All right, so that's it for the CAO report. So we're right in with all the department reports. We'll go on to the. Oh, sorry. That's right. Yes, that's right. So, any comments from the public, please?
My name is David Whittingham, a resident of the town of St. Stephen. I was just wondering if you or members of council or the administration can give an update on the status of the proposed warming centre for this coming winter.
Sorry, I just.
Excuse me. I did notice there was an update from a recent update from the CEO in his report. Just wanted, but there have been developments since then, and I wonder if you could elaborate on them.
So I got nothing to comment on at this point. They're still working at it, and I say they, that's the province, and there's groups working with them, and there's been a few things that we're trying to iron out, and yeah, nothing solid to report yet. I know that they're looking for the staff, getting ready for that. The municipality is ready to do water, sewer, power, and support how we can, and that's where we sit right now. We're just waiting on the province to clear the place. Any further questions from the public? Okay, thank you. Thanks. Okay, and that's okay. We'll move second and move into department head reports. Councillor Harding and Councillor Eastman. Okay, so we'll go right on to the deputy CEO report. Sean.
I guess protective services is first, so we'll start with fire. For the period between October 18th and November 20th, we had a total of 23 calls, which is the new average, around the average for a month. Nothing really spectacular to talk about, but you would note that there were 10 motor vehicle accidents, which is a high number. One might think that that was because we're going into winter and it was road-related, but it really wasn't. There were a few that were road-related, but just accidents. Why we had that many this month, I don't have a good explanation, but we had 2 more today, and neither of those were road-related, so they come in highs and lows, and this month was a high for motor vehicle accidents. Let's do a circle. I completed some ICS 300 training a couple of weeks back, which was well overdue. I've been trying to get that for a number of years, and finally made time in my schedule to make it happen. I guess that's the highlights of what I have for fire. I already spoke about Halloween, I think, at committee. Halloween was a success from the fire department standpoint. I don't have a whole lot on bylaw, more of the usual stuff that we normally do. And building, just had 4 permits for $940,000. Building demands were at 72 permits, $4,469,983 for the year. Those are my highlights for protective services. If there were any questions before I go on to infrastructure, I guess I'd take them.
Councillor Eastman.
Yes, I'm looking at the building inspection report type thing here. I took a walk downtown here not too long ago, and I noticed between the old McBride building and the Anderson store, furniture store there, I don't know who owns them now, but at the very top corner, the building's bulging out, and it's putting a lot of stress on a line. I don't know if it's a power line or a telephone line or whatever. Are we looking into anything on?
Yes, the building inspector has been in contact with them. I know that, but I don't know much more beyond that. But we have made them aware that it has been noticed. But I will follow up because it's been a little bit of time since we did mention that to them. Thank you.
Councillor Islip.
Just out of curiosity, Sean, what's ICS 300? Just because I'm not familiar with that.
Sorry. I tried to do my best to write that. Incident command system, and 300 is the level. It's 100, 200, 300, 400, and then a whole bunch of other courses intermingled in there. Yeah, in between the hundreds. Yes.
Okay. Councillor Harding.
Thank you. I know that I just thank you privately, but I want to thank you publicly on behalf of the Milltown Activities Group for, one more time, delivering Santa and Mrs. Claus to our festivities, which went over quite well. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's always a pleasure to transport.
Okay. Okay.
Infrastructure, I got to apologize, the titles for each of my departments or areas, it says for the month of August, that should say October, so I'm guessing I missed that last month as well. So these these are things that we did in October, not August. Highlights from that, of course, is the roads. We put out some cold patch today, and we're hoping to get another load of asphalt tomorrow. Asphalt's going to be shutting down any day, but it looks like we might be able to get another load tomorrow. As usual, this time of year, we're busy cleaning catch basins. We had a storm or a rainfall event with some wind this week, which knocked a lot of the oak leaves off, and we ran around town all day trying to clear catch basins, and there were some that overflowed, and we were doing our best, but it was just more than we could handle. Hopefully the leaves will go away and we'll be good. But so we've been busy with that, and I did make a note that we've been out a few times, and we've been out a couple more times since I made this note to spread some salt. We've had some moisture in the mornings that froze to the roads and whatnot, so that we have had some slippery conditions in places with black ice. And the last thing, I guess, in that report, I speak about doing some interviews for the mechanic position, and those will be happening tomorrow morning. So hopefully we'll find a good candidate, and I believe we will with the candidates that we have. And that's the highlights from infrastructure.
Okay, thank you. Before we go on to the next one, I just want to add that for the Christmas in Milltown is thank you goes to you guys, although I went and bought the hot chocolate, but you guys helped me with the bill, so thank you, everyone. You supplied the hot chocolate for their event, too. Okay. No, I already moved in. Southwest Service Commission, MD Planning Report. Xander.
Thank you, Your Worship. Alex is alive and well. He will be back at some time. It just worked out better for me to be here tonight, and it's nice to be with everybody. I just on Mr. Whittingham's question, I did see on CHCO's Facebook page, or it might have been Vicky's personal one, there was a press release that was shared just this afternoon from the working group. So there might, it was pretty much what you said, Your Worship, but there might be a bit more information there. In terms of the planning update, PRAC approved the temporary authorization for the St. Croix Vocational Center to continue their institutional use to allow time for council to make legislative changes to the municipal plan and zoning bylaw. That was the public hearings tonight, one step of that. PRAC also gave their written views to council in favor of both of those amendments. We worked with the assistant clerk on bylaw registration and ministerial approval process, and it is fantastic to have someone who used to work in the registry office assisting us, because it's really invaluable. And we worked with Future St. Stephen and the CAO on the vacant lands and some RFP ideas. In terms of, one planning update that's not in here that I actually got through another CAO, and maybe it came up at UMNB for some of you, but just in case it didn't, he had cornered the CMHC representative who was there and asked about the HAF funding and when they could expect a response, and they said Q1. So it seems like fall is not going to happen. Not surprising, because fall is over, and maybe not 2023, but hopefully a response in 2024. And there had been contact with CMHC on the application specifically, so I am hopeful there'll be some good news there. In terms of development, year to date, we've done 83 building permit applications. We just review it for zoning, and then it gets passed off to the building inspector. 47 development permits. The total new construction value is $6,300,000 or so, 300,000. 24 zoning confirmation letters or registry documents, 14 zoning variances or terms and conditions, 5 sign permits, no change in this report period, 23 subdivision applications, which have led to a total of 34 new lots being added to the municipality. and 52 net new dwelling units to date, and I think that's a slight correction from the last month's report. And that's it. Happy to answer any questions.
Councilor Greenlaw?
Just on the Housing Accelerator Fund, you said Q1, is that our Q1 or federal Q1?
It's a great question. I assume it means the period between January and March, but I could be wrong.
Councilor Heisler?
I just see there's a discrepancy between our building costs and permits and your one, so I don't know if we can somehow align those, because it gets confusing to the person reading it. There's a building inspector report that has 77 permits to date, and then ours is 4 million something, and then yours is 6 million something with 80 some permits. So I don't know where that discrepancy is coming, but maybe they get together a little bit once a month and report at the same time. Might be different reporting periods too, right? So I'm not sure how that's working.
I, to be honest, don't know the answer to that, but I think we can sit down and maybe Mr. Morton knows a little bit more.
I do know that this has come up before, and Alex had a pretty good explanation. I don't remember exactly what it was. I think some of their numbers would include development permits, which would not be covered under building permits, so that might be some of that difference. They also receive them and have work to do, so there could be a delay in Manzer receiving them, so that they never line up. I will tell you that because of that. But I think that the money difference is more related to development permits that are getting lumped into that, where Manzer doesn't deal with those. But I'll check.
If that's the case, then maybe there could be a disclaimer on there that is including development permits on your side or something, just to go and, because I mean, when people look at it and they're saying, well, what's these two numbers? And there's like $2 million difference there, so.
Another solution could be I could ask Manzer to stop reporting values because it is misleading, and theirs would be more thorough and more totally encompassing. So that's probably would save a lot of work and probably fix the problem.
Yep.
And we're getting the information anyway, so yeah, I'll get it. All right.
I will make that suggestion.
Yeah, just maybe from one source.
Yep.
We don't have to do anything, so that's great.
Okay, any further questions? All right, thanks, Andrew. Okay, community services, Kev Sumner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Start off with the facility maintenance reports. Comes from Jeremy McShane. As some of you may have seen, the GCC has been very busy over the last few weeks with various tournaments. We had the Veterans Day Cup around Remembrance Day, and we've just had the high school tournament this weekend. Starting earlier it seems, each year, and I want to thank the crew that made everything happen. Not just the guys on the Zamboni and cleaning the stands, but in the students in the events department as well, who were, manning the canteen. So good all-round effort inside the GCC. We've had to repair a couple of pumps, as you'll see from Jeremy's report. One from inside the jets in the indoor pool and the small therapy pool, and one with the outdoor pool in Milltown, and we've kind of buddied them up because they're similar pumps, and we've been able to repair those. And so it's even though it's not the season for outdoor pools, there's always lots of work going on up there. As mentioned in Jeremy's report as well, the conference area upstairs, we had to shut that down during the afternoon and early evening if there wasn't any meetings going on. Just we had some issues with antisocial behavior of youth in the area. We've been able to kind of put a handle on that and control that, so that's good. We want to kind of look after the building and keep it in the best way it is, and it's just one of the issues we have, but it seems to be going the right way now. Next is my report. So, just touching on Jeremy's as well, there's some HVAC work done in the library, which was much needed. So working with our our tenants and keeping the buildings in the best shape that we can. As for my report, I said the plaza project is almost done. The flagpoles, I believe, started to go up this afternoon, so appreciate that from Public Works and their crew. They've assisted with winterizing, like I said, of the pool, the tennis courts, preparing other work for the Walk of Lights, which I'll mention in Michelle's report, just assisting with some of the things that Michelle and her crew can't do, and it is greatly appreciated. It's a really good team effort, and we appreciate the help from Sean and his team. As for Aaron, in the aquatics department, there is lots of training. He's doing most weekends now until Christmas, just keeping the standards of the lifeguards up to where we want, and potential new staff and new guards as well. Lessons are going well. They're stronger and stronger, so we're doing more lessons each week. So that's great for us and great for the community. And in Michelle's report, it's got a list of past events in November and future events. As you know, it's that time of year. We're building up. We've got the parade on Friday. We've got the Walk of Lights. It's the second busiest time for Michelle and her team, and they do a great job. And we know, I think there's around 40 floats for the parade at the moment, and I'm sure there's still an opportunity to get them in. So that is my report, and if there is any questions, please let me know.
Councillor Eastman?
Yes, I got several, actually, and one comment. This conference that we had in Fredericton this past weekend, I have a pretty good, strong contact that may help you out for your extra power from EMO, and they're talking, they may have funds. On your St. Croix Library, I noticed that some lights have ballast replaced and stuff like that. Have we not gone LED for our outbuildings like this?
We are planning to. It is in the plan. We're adding them. I know we've had. Oh, thank you for putting my light on. The lights up at the Cotton Mill Monument. We're waiting for parts for those. We've seen that in Milltown at the tennis courts. It's what we want to do. It's just getting through them and getting the parts in place. So yeah, it's definitely on Jeremy's radar for LED.
Again, there's funding for this outside of our area too. So I would say, let's try to pick somebody else's pocket rather than spend ours. Union Street Fire Department works. I know they're in deplorable condition up there and all that stuff, but I see that we're looking at doing some work on offices and sleeping areas. We haven't made a decision yet, I don't think, about looking into building a new fire hall for all. I would say this may be a conversation we can have to make sure we don't put a lot of money into something that later on down the road we're not going to use. So, I see you installed a new gate in the Rotary Field. I witnessed the guys in there working the other day. I don't know if you know it or not, but the Legion is planning to enclose that whole area by fence in the spring. So that gate won't do you any good. Just throwing that out there. Wish we had to talk before. Pickleball. Has a decision been made where we're going to put a pickleball thing and how much we're willing to spend on this? I didn't think so. I'd be kind of leery on how much activity we're going to get if we throw any money against this. That's it.
Well, I mean, you were at the budget, and I did well to get the 300 and some thousand that we got to do what we do. I mean, if you guys are interested, I was in game. I was ready to get some more money and do these things that the community wanted, but that we got capped at that. Anyway. Who was first? Councilor Heislip.
Just like to have a shout out with the mowing team. They did the mowing for the Charlotte County Museum this summer and did a great job. I know that the board would like to thank thank the services that they provided, and just a little bit saves us some money because we get very little in operational grant during the summer, and that goes a long ways, and we're trying to do some repairs there next year, so that'll go towards that what we saved this year. So I'd like to thank that crowd, and you can pass that along to them if you get a chance. Thank you.
Councilor Wright?
I was just going to make a comment that I was at the second Irishman home game for the Irishmen, and a piece of glass got busted, and it was quite something to watch the team work and see that there was a piece of glass all ready to go. And it was just really neat to see the teamwork and how quickly it got done, and the game was only, 25 minutes late starting, so just another little thing that people might not think of that happens, but these people are available even in the evenings like that, and I just think it's great. You guys did a great job that night. Thanks.
Yeah, no, I noticed that the staff had that taken care of quite quickly, and it's something I wanted to clarify too, because during that game, there's a lot of other things going on in their facility, and someone brought to me, why is there so many people working here tonight? And, it's just a hockey game. And I said, this isn't just a hockey rink. We had conferences going on upstairs. I think the Multicultural Association was upstairs. They're moving seats and chairs, and they're doing other things, and I just wanted to kind of clarify that there's other duties in this building besides ice. Sorry. Anyway, Councilor Greenlaw.
I thought previously we discussed the old skateboard park in the back of and that was what the grant was originally meant for, was to build fencing and to do stuff around that for the pickleball. So was that, I don't know if we decided on it or not.
It was. I think the resolution passed was to assist with the funding application for that one. I've got a second one in as well. That's more for equipment. And I think a lot of the processes depend if that grant is successful. So I don't think the actual land was designated yet, but it was just to assist with the funding application.
Councilor Cornish?
Just a question, Kevin, I'm not sure if it belongs to you or not, but the lights across from the Catholic Church in St. Stephen's Catholic Church in Milltown, there appears to be, most of them are out. I reported a couple of weeks ago, but I haven't had a chance to go back in the dark. I just want to find out. I think there's 3 of them there, but I think there's supposed to be 5, but I'm not sure. How's things going on that one?
Those 3 light posts are the ones I mentioned. They're just waiting on parts to come in. They're LED lights, so it's going to look very bright as the park in Milltown at the tennis courts is going to look. We're just in supply and demand. We're just waiting for the parts to come in. So yeah, you should hopefully see that in the next short while.
Great worker right there. Gets things done. Andrea. Sorry. Any more questions? All right, so that's our community services report. Thank you, Kev. Next up, Frank, Treasurer's.
Thank you, and the report's in front of you. I'll just go through a few points. Before I begin, though, I want to thank Jeff, Sean, and Kev for the support that I've received over the past month while Tim's been out, and we're certainly hoping that he makes it back soon. I think he's scheduled to be back next week, and we'll have to wait and see if that happens. Just going through the report, been a very busy month, as usual. Our monthly accounting, you mentioned utility in here. The girls are very busy daily answering phone calls, dealing with the issues around the new meter system, property sales transfers. We collected a little over $172,000 towards our receivables in the month of October. On the payable side, we processed 246 vendor payments totaling a little over $2.1 million. Payroll processing, we had 2 payrolls in the month of October, 185 payroll payments to staff, representing a little over $306,000. Daily, we deal with issues around our accounting for the Garson Civic Center, so that's a daily process, and we have a girl that she does that, as well as she helps out with the month-end and accounting. We were very busy, both Tim and I, in October with various meetings, budget meetings with the CAO and the department heads, corporate staff meetings, Tim with SMT. And for both of us, we had professional development activities that happened in October. I don't have a lot of information on the capital projects. I tend to be more on the operational side, and Tim tends to deal more on the capital, although I've been very busy with capital payments during the month of November. So there's not a lot of information there. That's, in fact, nothing there is new from the last report, but hopefully we'll have an update on that when Tim gets back. And I guess the only other thing in here, and it goes through multiple HST, various insurance issues. We're still dealing with issues around the lagoon fire. And we did receive payment for a little over $200,000 from the insurance company. I can't remember if it was the end of October or into November, but that's towards some of the former claims that we'd had with regards to operational costs down there and capital costs. And the budget is in progress, but it's now complete. And that's about it. The operating fund and utility fund statements for the month of September are there. We show a surplus in the general fund, operating fund, of just a little over $1 million. And on the utility operating fund, the bills went out in September. We're showing a surplus there of $135,000, but that also reflects the fact that those bills did go out in that month. And we have our check register is there for you to review. And as I said, we had a little over $2.1 million in payments. I think it was, if I remember correctly, it was 246 individual payments that that represents. And that's it.
Okay. Councilor Heislett?
I know probably the same mindset of everybody here, that just to like to say thanks for you and your team and everybody that put together the budget. And I know it's been pretty stressful with Tim being out, and also like to thank Tim, even though he's been out. I heard that he came in and took his laptop or something home. So, and I know just going to that UMNB thing of what they were way ahead of the game, because a lot of people are still going through the process and some haven't even started it yet. So kudos to the team and everybody. And I know I've seen the emails and everything, but it's nice to go and just say that publicly, that we appreciate that, and I'm sure I'm saying that on behalf of everybody here. So thanks.
Thank you, David. And yes, exactly what he just said, and I don't need to say any more, but thank you to the whole team and all the department heads that have to get those numbers into these bean counters. And anyway, and he's exactly right. There is a lot of municipalities struggling and getting that new budget in their new municipalities too. Anyway, did I hear something this way? Councilor Eastman.
Yes, sir. Just to understand some stuff here, I've been reading the line items type thing on the general bank account, what we paid out. And Frank probably can't answer this, but I'm sure the CAO or somebody can. I see we're paid $23,000 out for Four Seasons Sports for line painting. Is that town painting for parkings, or it's at field maintenance, or?
That's actually our road line painting. That's a contractor that comes in. Yeah. The company name throws everybody off because it sounds like it has to do with recreation. Yeah. But that's just the company name they operate under.
Another one, I don't know if I'm nitpicking or whatever, but I see we pay $114.91 for pool whistles. That's an awful elaborate for a whistle, or whistles. Really? Yeah. Do we get caught into a system where we just look at one source, or do we outsource for this stuff?
I'm sure well, maybe I'll let Kev talk to it, but I'm sure they do the due diligence and shop around. But anyway, go ahead, Kev.
Yeah, we try and get as many quotes as we can. We do look keeping it as close to New Brunswick as we can. In regards to the cost of the whistle, I'm not sure exactly how many that was, but Aaron has increased his staff, and they're not cheap. They have to be, loud enough. You can't just use a certain whistle. But I'll certainly.
Each lifeguard would need his own type thing, because of health-wise. But yeah, I was just curious.
I would add, don't always believe, not believe, just because it says pool whistle, there could be other items tied in with that. I asked that question many years ago, and it was about paintbrushes, and I think, how are you spending this much paintbrushes? But it was actually, there's more to what you see in that line. It's paintbrushes, and it could be paint, it continues on. It's just a start in the line. They can't capture it all on that check register. Okay. Next up, future St. Stephen, Ian, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Regarding my report under housing development, I will say I've listed a few activities I've been involved in, but really I'm in multiple conversations with multiple developers and projects at a bunch of different stages. Some trying to help them get proposals ready that might come before council, conceptual discussions. A lot of it's with the landowner asking, okay, what can I do? Which typically leads me to connect with Alex at the Planning Commission as well. And we have a lot of discussions around, different concepts, what they're allowed to do. So, but I am actively meeting with numerous developers and landowners regarding housing. It's still one of the top priorities for Future St. Stephen, and it's always an ongoing discussion. I'm also continue trying to move the discussion regarding the hotel project forward. There's kind of two aspects to that. It's not stated in my report, but it is public knowledge, I guess, that according to All New Brunswick's article, that one of the properties is appointed a trustee. I have been in contact with them just to understand their process, and I'm in kind of discussions with them just to make sure we're up to date to know what's happening there. The second one is this other group of investors that I've stated in my report. We're also having ongoing discussions around the process and what is necessary for them to move forward as well. I am, again, collaborating with the RC on multiple projects, like I've mentioned, and we have always ongoing discussions there. Regarding business growth and labor force development, again, I'm constantly in collaboration with the RC regarding a business owner asking, hey, can I potentially put a certain business in my home, or what's the requirements there, that sort of thing. So we've had ongoing discussions with a few different business owners, again, separate business opportunities to discuss furthering that. And I've also been in discussion with some local business looking to expand and grow, looking at other potential sites. And again, that's around, what can they do, bylaws, et cetera. And then I have been meeting with Charlene as well as at the RC regarding workforce development and furthering growing our workforce within St. Stephen. There's opportunities there, but also looking at the needs for further training, et cetera. Is there other partnerships that we can work together? And I did attend specifically a workforce development focus group that discussed some of those with some key partners and stakeholders regarding that topic. And then I'm, again, always ongoing networking, connecting with new business opportunities with businesses around the province that are looking to expand. And again, I appreciate in collaboration with the MDSS and getting leads, through multiple sources to follow up on and really to try to grow the economic region. Yeah. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ian. And as you know, it's really nice to have a group of, I guess Xander's gone, but be able to share the calls I get and take them and run with it and do all the details like you and Jeff and Xander and Alex will do. We're lucky to have you guys be able to do that and follow up and dot the I's and cross the T's. So thank you. Sorry. Questions for council? Councilor Harding.
Just to comment, it's good, Ian, to see that you are following up on the hotel thing. I think it's really, really important that we have a hotel in this town. And when I drive by the Civic Center on the weekends and see that it's packed or any time, and I think, what a missed opportunity. So I'm hoping that you continue to work on that hotel project. Thank you, Ian.
Yeah. Sorry, I just cut you off. Sorry. Go ahead. Ian.
Thank you, Councilman Harding. And I will say, like, I don't know how much I'm allowed to disclose, but yeah, I'm definitely in touch with that quite. I'm bugging the guy enough to make sure that we are up to date constantly on what's going on. In the back of my mind with multiple people that are interested in that sort of thing, for sure. But I appreciate it. Thank you.
Earl or Councilor Eastman?
No problem. Listen, I this is just a thought on this, and it's does with future St. Stephen. We haven't really came up with a plan yet on what we're going to top off at affordable housing, have we? Like, I mean, what happens if we get developers in here that build 2 or 3 friggin' big units, and all of a sudden we got nobody to put in them? Because we have no industry that has come in or anything like that. Have we made an overall plan here?
Well, yes, we have done a study on the numbers and got our vacancy rates, and we have done that. But Ian, you might want to continue more on that, but yes.
Yeah, there was a pretty extensive housing report done in 2022 in collaboration, I believe, with the MDSS as well as the RC, and that was prior to me. But that is something we share with developers. Currently, that isn't our issue. Where we're constantly through a few other programs. I'm constantly getting emails as far as workforce saying, "Hey, I'm looking to move to the region. I can't find housing, et cetera, et cetera. Can you put me in contact with, whoever?" Even some industries are definitely, and we are trying to have the conversation at a larger scale with the Regional Service Commission, with even employers to say, "Hey, you're trying to grow your workforce. This is a need. How can we all work together?" So the discussion is continually ongoing. But at this point, the need is there still. If we start forecasting and seeing, okay, we're slowing down in this area, definitely we'll pay attention to that. But right now the need is housing, and so we're not slowing down. I will say most of the funding opportunities federally and provincially, there is a push for affordable housing, but it's mixed with a market rate and affordable. As I think early on we had a discussion about, the developer side being able to be sustainable versus just doing affordable housing. So that's also a topic there. But definitely there's still a need, and we've done the research, and I can share that with council if you'd like. Again, there's the 2022 housing assessment need that has been pretty thoroughly executed. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Next up, thanks, Ian. Okay, next up we have. Yes, for all the reports. Okay, so I had a mover, I had a seconder. Any more questions on all the departmental reports? All right, seeing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next up, I need a mover seconder to move into bylaw MDSS 16-23, a bylaw to impose special business improvement levy for 2024 as amended. And that's the, just bring your attention to, it was originally 26,500, and the actual number is 26,885. So that's the amended number. So can I have a mover and seconder, please? Councilor Harding?
Second.
Deputy Mayor Wheaton? Okay. So pursuant to Section 5.1, the Business Improvement Areas Act, be enacted by Council of the Municipal District of St. Stephen as follows: that the business improvement levy be imposed on all non-residential property within the business improvement area of the local government that is liable for taxation under the Assessment Act. The levy shall be in the amount of $26,885 at the rate of 20 cents per hundred of property assessment, and council hereby directs and orders the Minister of Environment and Local Government to levy the said amount pursuant to provisions of the Business Improvement Area Act. So can I have a mover and seconder first? This is for the second reading, sorry. Any questions on that? Sorry, first. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Second reading approved. Okay, now new mover and seconder for the bylaw MDSS 16-23 being the bylaw to impose a special business improvement levy for 2024 given, oh, that was the second reading we just did. Well, it says second though. All right. I see. All right, third and final reading, please. Any questions on that? I'm not going to read it again. I just read it. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Third reading. Thank you. We just did the second reading.
Yes, that's the third.
No.
Seconder for third reading.
No, we did the second reading first.
Yes.
All right, and then I just did the third reading.
But you didn't have a mover and seconder.
Oh.
The clerk did not record one, so we.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I'll move
All
it
right.
though if you want to.
Well, we'll have to do it properly. Mover and seconder, please.
So moved.
Councilor Islip, Councilor Cornish. All right,
Now you can call the question.
questions, please? All those in favor of the third reading?
Aye.
Thank you. Any approve? Okay. Yeah, all right, but it's, yeah, okay. All right. Mover and seconder for bylaw, no, that's the one we just did. What the heck are you guys got going on here? All right. Man, oh man. Bylaw MDSS 15-23 to regulate the use of public parks, third and final reading. Mover and seconder, please.
Also move.
Councilor Eastman?
Second.
Councilor Heislip? That the bylaw MDSS 15-23 being the bylaw to regulate the use of public parks be given its third and final reading by title. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. All right, new business. Okay. Request for decisions. I need a mover and seconder for Schedule A, a bylaw number W-1, a bylaw respecting water and sewer rate and charges. Councilor Harding? Councilor Greenlaw? Proposed resolution that the revised Schedule A of the bylaw number W-1, a bylaw respecting the water and sewer rates and charges be accepted effective January 1st, 2024. Questions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. All right, mover and seconder for the transfer to the General Capital Reserve Fund. Councilor Heislip? Deputy Mayor Wheaton? Proposed resolution that in accordance with the 2023 budget, the amount of $200,000 be transferred from the General Operating Fund to the General Capital Reserve Fund. Questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Mover and seconder for December meeting schedule. Councilor Harding?
I'll second.
Councilor Eastman, that the proposed resolution that the scheduled meetings for the Committee of a Whole and regular council meeting be canceled for the month of December 2023. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Yes, the staff will thank you very much. They just got through that budget, and they still got some tuning in to do that still with that. And there's a lot of work goes on behind the scenes to get these meetings together, and they need a much-needed break from us. All right, mover and seconder for the volunteer fire remuneration implementation plan with, is there an amendment on that? No, there isn't. Okay, as it is, mover and seconder, please. Deputy Mayor Wheaton. Councillor Wright. That council approves the following implementation plan for the remuneration of the volunteer firefighters policy that was passed by council in October 2023. Questions? Sure.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just for explanation, especially for those that online or that may be watching, we had the policy approved previous council meeting. And what we realized as we started to go through it is we hadn't been very clear with council about our intended method of implementation, which is a phased approach. And so when it's just got an approval, it looks like everything becomes effective right away, and that wasn't our intention. So we wanted to be very upfront with you folks about what our intentions were, and provide enough clarity to other departments, like such as corporate services, about the way that things are going to be implemented going forward. So that's why we came back rather than doing it just kind of administratively behind the scenes. We want to be very upfront with you and very transparent about what we're doing as we implement the policy we asked you to approve. So that's why we came back one more time before we started putting everything in place.
Okay, thanks, Jeff, for the clarification. Questions? All right, the following information, I already read it. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. And thank you for the volunteer firefighters as well. All right, and the chief. All right, mover seconder for utility capital reserve, SCADA upgrades. Councillor Heislip. Councillor Wright. That council authorizes the amount of $747.13 be transferred from the Water and Sewerage Capital Reserve Fund to the Water and Sewage Capital Fund to cover the balance of the SCADA upgrades for 2023. Just before we go, Jeff will have a comment on that.
Again, just an explanatory note for the public as well. Within our current operating budget, we do have funding set aside for continuing our upgrades on our SCADA system. Unfortunately, based on the most recent quote and invoice, we'd be a little bit over our anticipated budget for the year. We do have within the reserve identified there just over $2,500 that had been previously earmarked for SCADA upgrades due to previous contributions to the reserve. So rather than having a budget line go over budget this year in our operating, we would prefer to use the money in our operating and then draw that last little bit of funding from the reserve, which is the dollars that were already assigned to this type of project. So that's what we're asking you to do here.
Okay, any questions? All right, council, I already read that one too. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, council. Okay, next up, mover and seconder for the correspondence we received. Deputy Mayor Wheaton. Councilor Eastman. Any questions of council of the correspondence received? All right, consider it received. All those in favor? All those in favor of receiving the correspondence? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. All right. I never heard back from the community garden school project. Did you guys hear back? Okay. All right. Okay. Next up, mover and seconder to approve the council reports. So moved. Councilor Harding. Councilor Eastman. Any questions? All those in favor of receiving the reports? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Starting to lose everybody here. Okay, hang on. We're almost there. Well, yeah, we are there. Next up is a mover and seconder to move into close. for our Local Governments Act, the council move into close for the session for the proposed discussing a potential land disposition. Councilor Eastman, Councilor Heislip. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Motion to move into close. That concludes our meeting this evening. So thank you everyone for attending. Thank you everyone online, and have a good night.